All right, this is going to be my video for this season of Diablo 4, just kind of going over everything I did, everything, my thoughts about it, whatever, just kind of having like just a little audio journal essentially of just kind of how everything went. So when the season first started, I ended up playing the evade build because it was bugged. You could just sit there and spam it, and I knew it was going to get nerfed or whatever, but I just used that so that I could farm a bunch of levels and just level up quicker because you could just fly through everything in the game really fast. And then once they nerfed it, it actually ended up still being like a pretty decent build that you could have just played the whole time or whatever. But I ended up changing to this crushing hand because it kind of reminded me a lot of like the old Hoda builds that were super good, and I'm really glad that I did. So I'm just going to briefly go over my gear. I'll just hover over it a little bit, and you can look at the stats if you want. I promise it's not really anything fantastic. I don't have like the craziest builds or anything like that with the most cracked out master working or whatever. That's just kind of what I have cooked up. And then you can see my Paragon stuff right here. I'm just going to link a actual guide that I more or less followed off, and you can go look at all that stuff there if you really want to. But um ultimately, the Spiritborn was just so incredibly broken because of how bugged it is that it actually made me not really want to play a whole lot of other classes. Like, I'm level 233, as you can see, which, I mean, I guess I don't know if that's even like super high or whatever. I honestly feel like it's not, just because of all the stuff that I ended up having to do and whatnot. I was like bossing and stuff like that. And once you get higher level like this, really the fastest way to level up is clearing really high tiers of the pit. And I just never ended up really doing that. So, but I still ended up at level 233. Overall, I really do like the Spiritborn class. I think even after they, fix all the bugs and nerf the shit out of it or whatever, it's still going to be really fun and worthwhile and everything like that. I really like especially this crushing hand build, because for most of the time I was doing the whole thing where you want to like stack up as much armor as you possibly can and get your resolve stacks and stuff like that or whatever. But then after a while, I was just like messing around and kind of switched to doing the whole overpower build, and my damage went up by like several orders of magnitude. But I wasn't able to fully switch over until I got this Shaco, and I got all like the maximum resource enough to where every time I use my core skill, that it would crit and overpower every single time or whatever. So I mean, with this build, I'm doing like, I think I've done like 80 or 90 billion damage is like the most I've ever done, which I think that's the highest damage I've ever done on any character ever since the game came out. And that's still like a far cry from the absolute insane numbers that some people are hitting. But I mean, for me, it's the best I've ever done. Another thing is, as you notice, I've got 2 Uber uniques here, and I have a couple more on a different character I'll show you. And this is really the first season basically that I've actually gotten uniques. So I think like the last season right before this one, I did like all like the season journey crafting, whatever bullshit that let you get the resplendent sparks, and I ended up crafting a Shaco, and that was like the first unique I had ever gotten, because I'd never gotten one to drop or whatever. But with this season, with the addition of the tributes or whatever you can do in the Undercity, they have the one, do I even have one on me? Yeah, the boss summoning items. So I've done, I don't know, probably anywhere from 70 to like 100 of these, I would say. And with that, like, I mean, I have so many eggs still. I ended up with like a bunch of eggs and nothing to really do with them. But because of that, I was able to farm so many mats, and I've actually gotten like a decent amount of Uber uniques to drop. I think I got like 3 or 4 of them to drop, I want to say. Like this one right here, I think this is the 3rd one I've gotten of this. So it's got to be more than 3 or 4 then. It's probably like 6 or 7, I would say, I've gotten to drop. But I ended up, most of them were like not really useful, and so I ended up salvaging them or whatever to craft others. Like this Shaco and this Shroud of False Death, I crafted both of these using the new crafting thing with the runes, and it was absolute cancer. It was the absolute worst thing I have ever done, and I don't think I ever want to do it again. I was just getting all these runes, and I was, going to the jeweler and trying to trade in 3 to, get the 15% chance of getting in going from the rare to legendary, or you get 3 of the legendary runes, you can roll them and get another random legendary rule. It was absolute hell. It took forever because I don't trade, I never have. Yeah, I never have, and I just don't really want to, because I hate people and I don't want to deal with another human for anything ever again in my entire life if I can help it. So everything I do is solo. So I like a lot of my gear, like it's scuffed, the masterworking is whatever, like I'm considering I'm just doing this by myself, like, and I actually have a job and everything, like I'm somewhat a functioning human, debatably, like I don't want to fucking trade. But this whole rune thing, it's so fucking bad that it's probably gonna force me to trade, because if I had traded, I could have gotten this shit probably like in a fraction of the time. And all the gear I've got from all the, I could have hundreds of billions of gold. Like I'm sitting at around 200 million gold, and that's right around where I've hovered all season. But how I got to this amount of gold was just from doing all the boss runs or whatever, and they basically only drop, you know, unique items or whatever, and then just selling them for gold. That was how I got my gold. So I would fill up my whole inventory and then sell and get anywhere from like 4 to like 6 million gold probably. But I did that so many times that I think at the highest I've gotten this season was like 270 million or something. But that's also because I basically refused to reset my masterworking or whatever. Like last season, after spending so many hundreds of millions of gold on a Shaco to get it to crit on the CDR and never getting it, I just like I'm just scarred for life. I'm traumatized. I just don't want to do it anymore. So I didn't. So you know, my gear ended up being what it being, which I mean, hey, I can't really complain. I would honestly say like this season, my masterworks and stuff like that, I was pretty lucky, all things considered. Like I can't really complain with the gear I have and the masterworks that I got or whatever. But oh man, the rune crafting, it killed me, man. It was just the worst shit ever. And yeah, like it feels good, and this even got the greater FX on CDR, which is pretty cool. So you know, again, I can't really complain that much after everything that I went through, whatever, but good god, it's just horrible, man. And then the other thing too is like I really hate masterworking and I hate tempering. The more that time goes on, I hate it more and more. I don't know. I hate the whole gotcha roll mechanic bullshit of this, where you just have to hopefully get lucky and get the shit that you want. And yeah, you have that thing. I don't even think I have one on me or whatever. I have a couple in my stash where, oh, well, you know, if I go here and I temper it and it's wrong, then you can reset it, but you can only reset it once. And then it's like, okay, well, it's like, okay, I barely got it, but then the roll is shit and just, I don't know, I fucking hate it. And it's the same thing with masterworking, man. I hate the fact that the way that to really juice your gear and get it fucking insane, it's just an RNG fest on a RNG fest on a RNG fest that all just fucking compounds on itself. I hate it so much. And the gold sink is so insane. And this season, there really isn't a good way to get gold. Like last season with the Infernal Hordes or whatever, you could just dump all that shit into the gold and you would get a lot of gold. But they nerfed the shit out of that. You get so much less gold now. So the best way to get gold that I found, because I don't trade, if I traded, I'd have I'd make Bezos look like nothing if I actually fucking traded. But which, I mean, it's not hard to do that, but I would just have a lot more gold. But the best way to do it now is just to sell all the uniques and shit like I was talking about. But even then, it's like I hate it, man. It's so much gold. The RNG is so shit, and I really just can't stand it. Like, it's making me like sick of this game, to be honest with you, because it's like, okay, I found everything that I needed. Okay, great. All right, now what's the next step? Oh, just fucking pull a goddamn fucking slot machine over and over and over again and hope that I get what I want. Oh, great, fucking fantastic, because there's nothing really else to do in the game after that. Like, you do all the bosses or whatever. Okay, cool. Oh, I got all my gear. Okay, I can run the pit 1,000 times for basically no fucking reason. I mean, yeah, you can. I like my glyphs. I mean, the highest one I have is like level 70. Like, I just don't care after a certain point to like keep doing it. But yeah, I don't know, man. This game I love this game so much. I put so much time into this game, like, but at the same time, I don't know, it's just really frustrating. And it's mostly to me because of this masterworking and this tempering. I hate it so much. Or it's like, you know, let's say I have these pants right here, right? Which they're not even, you know, I don't even have a greater affix. They're just there. I've had these for, I don't know, the last, I mean, how much playtime do I have on this character? Okay, 58 hours, right? I've probably had these pants for 50 of those hours and I haven't been able to change them. And it's like, okay, well, even if I'd have to find a new pair with all the shit that I want, which I haven't been able to find. But even then, I'd have to get all the masterworking to where I want it to be. And then on top of that, then I'd have to temper it and make sure I got it what I want it to be. And so even like for this one, right, it's like, oh, well, you know, let me masterwork it. And I want to get every single crit on the resolve stacks. That would make my damage go up a lot. Well, I better pray that I get it in the amount of gold that I have and with the amount, you know, amount of materials that I had. Otherwise, I'll like significantly like gimp my character and it'll be way weaker. So it's like, okay, well, do I get a second piece of gear and then use that one? And then once I make that one better, do I switch this? Or do I just bank up enough gold and then up the materials where I can sit there and say, okay, I'm just going to face fuck the RNG and I'm just going to sit here and push it as fast as I can for as long as I can until I hit it and just make sure that I have enough resources banked up to, you know, at the end of it, I'm at least going to be, you know, neutral where I left off, if not better, right? So yeah, I don't know. It's just this game, just aspects of it are just really killing me. But overall, I mean, this character, this class is fucking awesome. Like this build that I have going on right now, I'll just run into a Hell Tide for a second. It's about to end, but I mean, you basically just right click everything instantly dies and is deleted. I'm doing billions of damage, so you know, it's not really, you know, I just hold left click to move around, and I press right click on stuff, and I teleport to it with the Ravager, and everything dies instantly. And you know, it's extremely satisfying. I love it. It's great. So I'm very happy that I switched to this, even like from like the volley skill or whatever that I think is like technically the most damage or whatever. I just like this one a lot more because you just teleport around and basically fucking Gooba Stomp shit and it dies instantly. So, you know, it's great. And if you look at the damage numbers that I'm doing, I'm not even doing everything that I need to try to get, you know, max damage or whatever. I'm doing hundreds of millions of damage. I'm overpowering, critting on everything right. That's like the whole fucking point of the build, but you know. So this build's great. I love it a lot. I think Spiritborn is awesome. I love builds that you get damage by building resistances and prioritizing resistances. I think that's super cool. And hopefully, you know, I think this class should still be really good and everything, even after the nerfs or whatever. So I think Spiritboard is super cool, everything like that. But all in all, it did kind of ruin my season because then I didn't really want to play anything else. However, I will say an added culprit to that is fucking Barbarian. And I guess I should take this shit off so you can see my stats because I'm sharing the fucking chest. But oh my god, dude, I don't know why I do this to myself, but I decided to level a Barbarian because I wanted to try the new Mighty Throw because it looked pretty cool, right? Leveling as a Barbarian is so fucking awful. I hate it. It absolutely like just it tests my patience and everything so fucking hard in this game of like it just makes me want to quit, honestly. Like it took me an entire week. I would get home from work, I only have a couple hours to play, and I would just, all right, let me get this Barbarian and get him leveled, and I'll do it throughout the week slowly, and then on the weekend I can just blast, you know, because I'll have this guy leveled. Dude, it was just absolute fucking cock and ball torture. Like I don't know what they gotta do to Barb to make the leveling better. They just please do something. I don't know anything. It's just, it's horrible. It really is. Oh, I unselected the wrong thing. Cool. But I'm just doing this just so you can see the number. This is really completely irrelevant, but whatever. I'm gonna do it anyway. But yeah, so I did end up making a Mighty Throw Barb, and in the end, I guess I'm glad that I am and everything. It was really fun, and this is, you know, right up my alley again, where it's a build that's very tanky and everything, and I like that a lot. And building life and overpowering and all that sort of stuff is super cool, but leveling is so fucking horrible. I would rather get divorced again than have to level another fucking Barbarian. Like I can't do it. I can't. Oh my god, it's so painful. But at the very least, you know, once you get it rolling, yeah, it's fun, but good god, is it just absolutely atrocious. Another reason why I ended up playing this build was because I got the Air of Perdition and the Ring of Starless Skies from, man, I don't even remember how the fuck I got these things. I don't know. I think I got one of them to drop. I used one, like all the shards, whatever that you get from the season journey, and I did one randomly, which I'm never doing again. I did the whole, like, craft a mythic unique randomly, and I think that's how I got this, and then I don't even remember how the fuck I got that, whatever, I don't even fucking care at this point. I crafted this, as I said earlier, but this build is super cool. It does a lot of damage. Like, once Spiritborn is, like, actually nerfed and somewhat normal, this might actually be the best build in the game, or at least one of them. Like, again, I'll just hover over my gear slowly. You can look at it if you want. It's not that great. Again, it's really not. My gear on this is, my Spiritborn's gear is pretty fucking good, honestly, but this guy is, I mean, it's shit. It's not even close to anything. And when I'm throwing my Mighty Throws, and again, I have fucking uber uniques and shit, so take it with a grain of salt, but I'm doing, like, I'm overpowering for like 150 million, which, you know, is respectable. And on top of that, I don't even have all my glyphs. Okay, like this board right here, which one is it? Fuck. Oh no, I think I put the glyphs in it just to put it in it, but like this one, I don't even, which one is it? Yeah, like this one, I don't even have it going. I have like it's like Dominate or something I don't even have because for whatever fucking reason, I swear this character's bugged and just like none of the fucking glyphs are dropping ever. So I don't even have like a Dominate glyph in there. Like nothing is leveled. Like that's level 33, 26, 15. I don't have anything 45 or 46 or the fuck it is. Like absolutely nothing, right? Like this is just like thrown together, like barely functional. And I'm overpowering for like 100 and something million. And you have like a ton of barrier, a ton of fortify. I'm basically unkillable. I can't die no matter what I do. So this might be like, this is one of the best builds in the game for sure. Like with the whole Spiritborn fiasco or whatever. But leveling it is absolutely so cancer that I don't even know it's worth it, because why would you play this build when you can just play Spiritborn or, I don't know, literally any other fucking class that isn't so horrible? It makes you rethink every single one of your life choices as you're leveling it. So I don't know. Like I have 14 hours played on this character. That's it. And probably like 9 to 10 of those hours was over the course of like 5 days, like I said, after work, playing this game, putting myself through fucking just complete torture. And okay, yeah, once I hit max level or whatever, then I got all the 200 Paragon levels or whatever, which is honestly really cool. I like that change. And that's why I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to make a bunch of characters this season because of that. And then I only made this one character and didn't want to do anything else because Spiritborn was just so broken that I was like, okay, I just don't even really give a shit. I was going to do like a Flurry Rogue or like a Twisting Blades Rogue just because, especially because I have Air Perdition and I got the Ring of Starless Skies too, and those are uniques that work well with that build, and like Shroud of False Death or whatever. But I just don't. I'm just not. I'm just over it. I can't because I just know even though leveling as Rogue is way better, and then I'm gonna get to the stage where okay, now it's time to temper and masterwork, and then I'm gonna want to commit Sewer Slide. So I don't know. I just yeah, this game is holy fucking shit. I like it, but I hate it at the same time. I don't know. Okay, let's go over some things that I didn't like and some negatives, which is kind of thing has been mostly negative, but I've got some bullet points here. So master working tempering sucks and I hate it. Okay, kind of already went over that. Leveling is barb, would rather get divorced again. Second time I've said that, but it fucking remains true. Fuck this shit. Spirit Board was just so good that I didn't want to play anything else. Yada yada, whatever. I think the next time, like next season or whatever, if I do Crushing Hand again, whatever, I might try some of the poison stuff. That looked kind of cool, but whatever. And then I do like the runes. I think they add a little bit, you know, that's like kind of nice, and the fact that you can use them to craft mythics is cool, but the way of like getting runes and all that sort of shit is just so absolute cancer if you're not trading. So it's like I might actually be forced to interact with another human again. I don't really know how I feel about that. Yeah, and then I might just have to start trading, because especially for seasons that don't have a good gold sync or whatever, and now with the whole rune shit, like I might actually have to start doing it. Out of things I do like, I really like the Undercity. I think the addition of that is really cool. And you know, like the boss summoning one was awesome. I did the ones that, you know, give you runes. I don't even know how many times trying to get the runes to do whatever. And then there's another one where it's like you can get like ancestral legendaries. That one's okay. That one's pretty cool. And then there's another one that's like the unique version that like gives you a increased chance of like getting uber uniques. And I think I've done like 4 or 5 of those total so far, and I only got one uber unique from it, and it was like a useless one that I just ended up salvaging, which is fine. But you know, all in all, I'm pretty sure this is a permanent addition to the game, and I like it. It's cool. Like the activity itself, you just run around and kill everything, especially like with my builds, especially the Spiritborn build. I mean, you're literally just teleporting on the screen, like you're barely even walking, so you just click everything and it dies, and so you can just fly through it really quickly. I like that a lot. I will say though that it makes Infernal Hordes feel absolutely fucking terrible, because you know it's a minute each wave or whatever, and then if you just don't get the Hellborn stuff, it's like what's even the fucking point? It's not even worth it. And they nerf the shit out of the gold that it gives you. The only thing that's even worth it is for the Optus site or whatever. You can get a lot, but at the same time, why would you do that? Which I don't think I have any because I used all of them. Oh no, I have one. If you do this instead, it's way faster than a Infernal Hordes run, and you get like a good amount of shit. So you would just spam these instead. It's way faster. So I don't really know what the point of Infernal Hordes is. This like I really liked it, but now as time goes on, I hate it. And also Nightmare Dungeons, I don't really get what the fucking point of a Nightmare Dungeon is anymore, because you don't use it for glyphs. And I feel like a lot of the times, it's probably comparable, like an Undercity run to a Nightmare Dungeon run, especially if you get a good map or whatever and you have a fast build. But I'm pretty sure you still get more Opticite from the doing the Undercity than you do a Nightmare Dungeon. So what the fucking point of that is, I don't know. But fuck, this is supposed to be positive. I like the Spiritborn. That's cool. I like the builds that you gain damage from shit. Not sure how I feel about the pit now being where you do shit with glyphs. I mean, overall, I like the pit, and I like that it gives you the obols. That's cool. It gives you a good amount of them, so you can stack them up pretty fast and gamble shit, because the gambling is way better now, and that's also cool. But I don't love how, I guess, like maxing your glyphs is more like aspirational content now, because you have to push really high for it, versus before, you know, it was just basically like a time sink. So I don't know, whatever. I'm just kind of neutral about that. Yeah, and Undercity was awesome. I liked it a lot. All in all, I did like this season. I had fun with it. I thought the campaign was complete ass. I was actually gonna sit there and like, you know, you play through the campaign the first time, let me watch all the cutscenes, you know, really get immersed. Like, let's see what Blizzard puts together, because they do awesome cinematics, right? Like they always have. And then right in the beginning of the campaign, when you're like standing on a bridge and a guy like slowly walks up behind you, stabs you, and throws you into a river, I was like, what the actual fuck is this? Like, I'm the same character, right? Like canonically, like didn't I just like bitch slap Lilith, like, I don't know, like 2 months ago, and now I'm letting this guy slowly walk up to me and down smash and stab me in the back, and like, and after that I was like, oh right, this is dog shit. And so then I just absolutely just spade ran it and didn't give a fuck and just skipped everything after that, because what's the fucking point? And in the end, Mephisto's not even really fucking there. You're just getting blue balled the whole time. But Spiritborn, cool. Barbarian, hate it. Leveling was terrible. Didn't want to make another class because Spiritborn is just so broken that what's the point? And yeah, I don't know. I guess at this point, like PoE 2 comes out in a little bit. I'm gonna try that. I haven't really play. I play like 100 hours total of PoE 1 throughout the whole thing, so that's basically like zero point 0.1 milliseconds compared to most people. But I'm gonna give PoE 2 a try. Maybe I'll start making videos about that. I'm still gonna play Diablo 4 and everything, but I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about this game anymore.